In this lesson, we're going to be installing a few Node packages in order to get started with our project. And previously, we've set up our Node install, and you could also check to make sure that Node Package Manager is up and ready by doing npm-v. So that will check and confirm that you've got Node Package Manager up and running. So navigate into the folder that you want to create your application in, and type npm init. And what this will do is this will initiate the setup of Node Package Manager. So we've got our package name, so message is fine, version, description, entry point. So we're going to create a file called index.js. This will be our entry point for our application. Test command, git repository. So we don't have any of that. Keywords, author, license, and we're just going to skip through those. So what this is doing is this is creating that JSON package JSON file that we're going to hold all of our Node packages in. So we see that once we run through that setup, we're ready to go and ready to create our index.js. So that's going to be our entry point file. So let's go ahead and create that. And there's a number of ways to create files. You can go into your browser, create a brand new file. We're going to do it within the terminal. So we're typing in echo, and then you can type in some content within the file as well. And then the two greater than symbols, and then the name of the file that you want to create. Now there's a number of ways to create these, and this way I know works across Windows and Macs, so this is why we're just doing it this way. So we see that once we've typed that in, we get that file created, so we've got index.js all ready to go, opened up in our directory. And you can go ahead and delete that hello, because we're actually not going to be making use of it, but go ahead and set up that entry index.js, and we're going to be ready to move on to the next step where we're going to download a bunch of Node packages. So the first one that we're going to download is Express. So what Express will do is it basically allows you to run a mini framework for Node. It allows you to create routes and output content. So all you need to do is, what we can do is we'll just copy this out. And let's go ahead and install Express. So I've got that open here within the browser, and the install for Express is npm install express. So let's go ahead and open that up in the terminal, and we'll type that command in. So npm install express. And that will run through the install of Express, and you're going to see that it actually gets installed. So we get a new folder now called Node Modules. And we've got a bunch of stuff in there, a bunch of files, and we're all ready to go to have our mini framework. So we can, at this point, we can also try it out. So we can type in node index.js. So that's our starting point file. And once we start that up, and we've set it to listen to port 3000. So let's open up our browser, and we're going to go to localhost 3000. And now we've got our hello world showing up. So what's happening here is that it's outputting whatever it's sending over here. So if you change this to hello world 2 and refresh it, and actually we need to refresh the server. So type that node index.js again, and you see that when you refresh the page, you see that you've got that new message. So that is all up and running. So it's always good to confirm once you install something that it is working properly. And there's a number of other packages that we want to install as well. So NodeMon, what NodeMon does is basically it allows us to watch files in a directory. So if there's any changes to those files, it saves us the trouble of having to stop the server. So do the Control-C, stop the server, and then initiate it again and start it again. So this is once we need to stop that again and npm install. And we can install it globally if we want, so that's the -g nodemon. And what that will do is that's going to install it globally across the system, so it's not going to be only within my current folder, it's going to be across my entire system. And when you try to do that, you're going to, a lot of times you run into these access errors. So the way around that is to type in sudo, so that's going to be run as a super user, and then just type in that same install-g nodemon. And you're going to be asked for your password on your system. And this time it's going to be able to actually install it onto the folders. So that's a quick safety check just to make sure that you are aware that you are installing content on your system. So what happens now is we can do nodemon index.js. And we're going to see that we've started up on our local machine once again. And this time we can type in 3, save it. And you see that as soon as I saved that file, we're restarting our server, and all I have to do is go to the browser and refresh it. So this is going to save us a lot of time. And of course, you don't have to do that if you like doing the Control-C and restarting your server every time you make changes. You're free to do that as well. So this was just a really good package to have installed that allows us to quickly restart the server. So there's actually a couple other packages that we do want to install and that we're going to be needing for this project. So the other one that we're installing is Body Parser. So Body Parser is a middleware, and basically it allows us to handle our request body and take in information from the front end form. So the way to install Body Parser is npm install Body Parser. So it's just -body parser. And that will install Body Parser and get you ready to pick up and retrieve information from your front-end files. So I know that was quite a bit of stuff to run through, but we're almost set up and ready to go to continue to build out our application. So work through these installs. Go ahead and get your Express server up and running. Check it out, test it out. Also, of course, install NodeMon, so to make it a little bit easier when we do make changes that we can see them right away. And also Body Parser, which we are going to be making use of later on within the upcoming lessons. So once you've got that set up and ready, next lesson, we're going to install one more package, and this is going to be really the core of what we're doing within the upcoming lessons. So this is an important one. So that's coming up next.